Hello, Ben. Can you share a bit about the Buddhist community here in The Hague and the Netherlands?
Okay, it's not a problem, of course. So we are a Buddhist Sakya tradition. We are the only Sakya tradition center in the Netherlands. Soon we will also have a Buddhist monk operating here. He's the one who is a specialist on this process of dying. And he will give these weekend teachings 2 times a year. So this is one of the 7 Buddhist centers we have as Sakya in Europe.
And I read an estimate of Buddhists in the Netherlands,
Yes.
that it's 1.2% of the population.
That there are 55,000 hardcore Buddhists in the Netherlands. And there are 200,000 people interested in Buddhism.
Is your institute involved in supporting practices when this life ends for people within the Buddhist community here?
When you look at our center and the community we have, some people are dying at the moment, and of course we support them. We do it in many different ways. So we visit them, we give them a special treatment, like the online teachings we created for them, so they can be at home. And when we have these courses or meditations, we put it online so they can follow the teachings. They like it very much. Our teacher visits them to support them with special things, like if these Dharma pills, they are blessed by His Holiness. They liked it very much. And we also have these special prayers for the ones who are dying. There are quite some things we can do for people who are dying. Most of the time it's a very slow process. And the interesting part is that because we give so much attention to them, and there are 2 at the moment, they were given up years ago. But now, because of all this attention we give them, they are still among us. It's interesting, because I spoke to one of the wives of this man. This is a very sad case. But she told me that he was given up years ago, and because this special treatment, the help we give him, the online teachings, he is able to continue, because he's suffering from horrible pains. So his nerves are not okay, and there was a doctor in the Netherlands who could help him. The man had a burnout, had to stop, and then he was alone. And the insurance companies cut down on all kinds of support.
Yes.
So they told him, sorry, we can no longer help you with this and this and this. So he felt very alone. And then he met us. This was very fruitful, so to say. But we have experience, people who are dying. We know what works and what doesn't. And we see very interesting results of people who they cannot cure, of course, but they reach a much
quality
better quality of life. And sometimes when things are very bad, then we form groups, and then we visit them weekly, so to help them a little. And that's good. It's very supportive.
And do you see, I'm seeing in the US, just my own personal experience with loss, more and more focus on elder care, and more people are living longer. So these things, how we care for each other, becomes more to the top.
So in a community like this, I think this idea of compassion, being there for one another, is very alive. And we had, interesting that shortly before COVID, we had quite some elderly people, and they all died. So we helped them with the funeral. We helped the children to continue in a certain way, because some of them had children with autism, etc. So like this, we were able to support, but most of them died
Yeah.
So there's only these two guys who are in this very painful and sad situation. But especially the care for the elderly before COVID, we did a lot for them to support them, to keep them going. We made visits to them because they became very lonely. So, but now the COVID has decimated a lot of elderly people.
Yeah.
So there's quite a difference now.
And is that already something that was a high value in the Buddhist community?
Also very Tibetan to be very respectful and helpful to elderly people, and we try to continue this.
It's just a thought I'm having as we talk, that it's encouraging that even when insurance or when governments make decision about this, and that as faith communities we can also help and fill in those ways.
There's a big hole in this care, and then we can support the people who are in this place where no one can reach them anymore.
Yeah.
It's very sad sometimes.
And it can be a unique place, especially when faith is an important part all through your life, to have that to the end.
With one guy who supports one of the very sick people by paying for his medicine, because the insurance company said, sorry, we cannot do this anymore. But then he cannot sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
Special stuff. And so, like this. So we try to do whatever we can. What they call the instruction for the moment of death. So this is a very simple meditation, very powerful, by a very well-known Buddhist Lama, Lama Yeshe. And he wrote down how you can practice during the time of death. So when you know it's going to happen, this can be done by everyone.
If you're caring for someone, would this be acceptable for someone who's not Buddhist to just even go over this and read, or is it better to find someone from the community to do that?
No, it's when you read it to a person and you're not a Buddhist, she will understand, and they are very well aware what is going on. The effect is out of conscious, and he or she is dying. This is great.
This would bring
but there are some important rules. You are quiet, you make no noise, you just read the text. So for Buddhists, it's not very tragic time. It's a time of hope and expectation. But when someone can help them, because most of the Buddhists are vegetarians, and they can eat vegetarian food. They are surrounded by people who understand that they need some silence because of the meditation, that they're not sad or unhappy now, they're meditating.
And that's good to know, yeah.
So this is why this conversation is important, because for Buddhists, this time of dying is a time of hope. It takes 49 days from the moment of death to rebirth. And in these 49 days, when someone in our community dies, we call a teacher, and he immediately starts a ritual.
If they're not aware, depending on their mental state or emotional state, they would want a teacher to be called.
You can inform them that you shall call a priest, a Buddhist priest, that you will ask him to do the rituals for the dying.
And that happens at the moment of death?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That would be very, very good for them, because they know that they are looked after in the way they hoped. But sometimes you cannot decide how you die. Maybe you're hit by a car, and then you're unconscious most of the time. And when you're awake and you see someone who understands what you are and what you want, that makes a huge difference.